Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Rick. I'm a health coach in the HMR program, a longtime health coach, and my co-host tonight is Margie. Margie, how are you?
I am well, Rick. Good to see you.
You too. Margie, I've known you for many, many years. You know, I won't say decades because that would date us.
But you can.
I could say decades, absolutely. So Margie, thank you so much for helping me organize this event.
I cannot hear anything. Can anybody else?
I think we're better now. It said a participant has enabled closed captioning.
Yeah.
He went away.
I can hear, but I don't hear Rick anymore.
I don't hear Rick either.
I don't see him either.
Okay.
I hope I don't have to take over.
Well, we are live on Facebook.
Do you guys see Rick?
Nope.
No.
Does anyone out in the audience see Rick? This is like, where's Waldo?
There you go. Anyone?
Wow. Okay, you know what? Maybe, should I just kind of jump in here?
I say jump in.
Jump in and we'll have Rick come back whenever he is able. So my name is Margie Kluber, and I'm a registered dietitian. I have been working at the Abington Weight Management Center for quite some time. We are a relatively small clinic, but we have a sister clinic in Princeton, New Jersey. Most of my career there has been an in-person program, but obviously over the last few years, we've had to kind of redo things. So for 2 full years, we were a remote program. And what we found now is we are a hybrid. So starting this summer, we have both live classes in person as well as remote classes. And I think that that model is working for us. And I think that that's working for our patients. I have had the privilege of working with these patients that you are seeing on your screen right now. Not all of them, but I have been here for the last 32 years working with patients who really rise to the occasion. I also had the privilege of working with Misty, who is another long-term health educator with us, who has been there for 20 years. I'll be done in just a moment. So this great group of people that you're going to be hearing from very soon have had remarkable success. I think due to many things, but I think what rises to the top for me is their openness to coaching, their adaptability, and probably on the top of the list is their resilience. You will hear in a moment how long some of our participants on this screen have been involved in the program. And when you'll hear that, I think that you will realize that in order to manage your weight successfully for that long of a period of time, you must be resilient because there are always setbacks. Setbacks that are minor, setbacks that are major disruptions. And for this group of people, the term begin again, and then begin again is the voice I think they hear all the time. And I think that is truly a hallmark of their success. So Rick, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I am hearing a double audio.
Okay.
Oh, do you have it open on 2 things?
Let me look. So Margie, you know, the focus of tonight is about phase 2, but we didn't want to skip over phase 1. Mm-hmm. Why don't you hit on some of the high points with our guests while I just close down this other application, and then I'll be right back to join in the conversation.
Okay. So again, most of our conversation tonight is going to be about phase 2 because these folks are just great advertisements for phase 2. But we did want to touch on phase 1. And so just, in a sentence or two, I'd like to ask you what worked about phase 1 for you. Christie, can I start with you?
Sure. I think for me, it was just being decision-free. I've always been a very black and white person. You tell me what to do, I do it. It's that gray area. I'm a person, I need a structure. So not having to worry about making any big decisions. My biggest decision was what flavor shake do I want? What add-in can I do? I think just the simplicity of it is just what made it easiest for me and what made it work for me.
Wonderful. Patrick, what would you add to that?
Well, I think simplicity is a good word. It was easy. You could have a meal ready in a minute, and it was a simple, easy program to follow.
Mhm.
And I know most people, and including me, was under the impression that phase one was really very, very difficult. Whereas phase one was easy.
Mm,
You didn't have to do a whole lot of thinking.
okay. As opposed to phase two, where we do some more thinking, right?
Phase two is a little bit more challenging. It presents you with some opportunities to be creative, at the same time paying a little bit more attention to what you're doing and making sure that you're making healthy choices.
Mhm. Okay. Keith, do you have any perspective or advice for people that are in phase one now?
Well, always. I would have to say the thing that got me through phase one most of all was the group. The people that I was with, and every week getting back together. I'm a licensed professional counselor by trade, and that was really what got to me, was that there was a group dynamic there, and they were
Yeah.
helping you not just figure out, even in the moment, how to stay in the box, how to stay with the program, but what food was about for you over and above the sustenance that you were already getting from shakes and entrees and as much as you wanted. Why was that still not enough at times? And so that really touched me. And for me, what I've always thought is that even though I'm in phase two, I'm trying to go into phase two with a phase one mentality, where I'm still adapting. I'm still, exactly like Patrick talked about, making healthy choices. And like Christie said, what additive am I going to bring in? Well, that's how I approach what I'm eating now. How do you eat as many vegetables as I do? Because you're still using special spices or extracts or things like that that keep them very healthy and true to form.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Can any of you just speak to what approaches you tried in the past? Patrick, had you tried dieting in your history prior to being with us?
Oh, Margie, as you've heard me say, I've gained and lost 7 of me over my lifetime, or lost and gained, I should say, because that's usually been the experience. Where I
Yeah.
lost weight, but then gained it all back and more.
Okay.
Again,
Okay.
that this program, that has not happened for me. I'm coming up on 5 years,
Mhm.
and I have been on maintenance for the better part of a little more than 4 of those years,
Mhm.
and it's working.
Yeah. Okay. Christy, I don't know. Had you tried any major programs before coming here?
I have. So, I've always been kind of like up and down with my weight. So I've tried doing it on my own. I've tried, the bigger ones you've seen on TV and stuff. I feel like they were just very impersonal. And I feel like the one that I did go to that had a class, I didn't get anything out of it. It was the same conversation. They didn't teach you about how to eat properly and how to incorporate it into your life. It was too impersonal for me. Whereas I find at HMR, we're like a family, and it was very personal, and, we were all friendly with each other, and we gave each other ideas and motivation. It was just very different. And I never really had any success with anything else.
That's great. Rick, are you with us now?
I am. I'm so sorry
Okay.
about that. I was
That's
hearing
okay.
everyone speaking twice on a 7-second delay. So I'm glad I took the time to figure it out, but I am back. But I was able to hear everything that everyone said. Thank you for sharing about your
Yeah.
experiences in phase one. I'm sure there's just so much more to say about that. What I did want to do, just to sort of credential our guest, Margie, before we move past that too
Yes.
much, I want to just share the successes through by means of pictures here. So I just want to acknowledge, Christy, the work that you've done here. Margie, can you see that on the screen?
I sure can. Yep.
Yeah, just beautiful job, Christy. I have to ask you, when you see this picture, what's a thought that comes to mind for you in terms of the journey for you?
I'm just proud,
Yeah.
I kept my mind on the prize, and, I did this for me, and I'm just proud of, where I've come, and, how long it's been.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Patrick, just we were joking before the event started, what a dashing figure you are here. What thought comes to mind for you as you think about the work that you've put in and the quality of life changes that you're experiencing as you look at this picture?
Well, it has been a major transformation in my life, and a pleasant one. And I have a tendency, when my friends ask if I'm still on that crazy diet, I'll say to them, well, we're all on diets. And they said, when is it going to end? And I said, look, it's a way of living for me. So it's going to end when I end. But in the meantime, I am staying with it, staying on it, and just encouraged by not only the coaching, but the support that you get from the group. And as the other participants have pointed out, there is just tremendous support from other people in the group. And if I could, I know we want to focus on phase 2, but one of the things that I think is interesting in phase 2, when we do find that we're having some difficulties, and we do go up and down, it doesn't always stay down, our weight, but we're very quick to return to a phase 1 kind of mentality or a program where we'll do a decision-free day or do a couple of decision-free days. And return to that which was successful for us over the period of time that we were in phase 1.
Right.
I've always found that fascinating myself.
Yeah, that's just great. Keith, I don't want to leave you out of this. Can we just acknowledge the work that you've done here? We're going to hear a lot more from you on this, but just an extraordinary job. Does any singular thought come to mind here? Do you have many thoughts when you look at the changes that you've experienced?
I'm half the man I used to be. It's I keep pictures of that guy around because I've been doing this program for 13 years, and I was that guy for all of the years before that, for like 35 years, something like that. So even though I am not that guy anymore, even though my health is completely different and my physical ability is far beyond what I ever thought it could, in my head, sometimes I still think I am that guy. And that's why I need to do things like, all right, buddy, you had a bad night. Wake up, start your day with a shake. And send your weight into Margie for the meeting, and just we talk about absolution, just wash yourself of it and be like, this is where I'm at, because I have these people around me who show me I'm not that guy.
Yeah, that's such a genuine share. I'm glad you mentioned that point and you dwell on a little bit of that person still being there, just because when you look at these pictures, Margie, I know that you were sort of tapping into Christie's experience with previous dieting attempts. And I think it's important to share, all of you had times where you struggled mightily before HMR, because that's a very, very common experience. Had you only heard from Christie on that, or Patrick, had you also talked about?
Yeah, we did. We actually did speak with that.
Yeah. So but you guys you found that HMR works for you. We're going to now really get into it. The focus of this event really is on phase 2 and the long-term proposition of successful weight management. I would ask in our audience, since we have such experience and time in the program represented here on the screen, if you have any questions, please put them in. Let's answer any questions that you might have as you're hearing about their journeys in phase 2 in a little more detail. So,
Rick, I'm sorry, but were you going to talk? Were you going to speak to how long each person has actually been in the phase 2 program?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Exactly, you just read my mind. So, great. Patrick, 5 years. Christie, about 9. Keith, 13 years and still going. And I think
13.
Yeah, unbelievable. So it would be pretty understandable if people watching for a question to sort of arise in their minds, which is, boy, the success is extraordinary that we're seeing here, but do you have to do HMR forever? So, Christie, first, Christie and Patrick, let's address that. What's your response to that, Christie, if someone would ask you that question?
I mean, no, you don't have to do anything forever. But for me, it works. I still use the meal replacements. I use the entrees on a regular basis. They're convenient and I really like them. But, like I said earlier, I just really love a good structure and I just really do well with the accountability. Plus the coaches just continue to set you up for success. So for me, that's just, plus, there's so many people that have been in the classes for a long time that, like I said before, it's like a family, it's a comfort. And it's something that I just need personally for me to keep doing it.
That's wonderful. I'm seeing a lot of love from people in the comments. I've just pulled up the feed on my iPad. A lot of heart emojis for some of the comments that you just made there, Christie. Patrick, what would you add to that?
For me, it's a way of life or a way of living. Why would I stop that? So it's the Keith hit home with a point that I've thought of myself, but I've never heard anyone express it, that I still oftentimes think of myself as that fat guy, that heavy guy, whatever we want to call him. I have a tendency to look at square in the face at this point, but there are times that I see pictures of myself. I don't recognize myself now. And I don't think that's me. I think it's my older brother who was in and looked very much like mine. I never thought I looked like him, but now I do. So there are things like that I think it's essential to me to continue in phase 2. And I know when I heard how long Becky had been in the program, one of our fellow participants, I thought, wow, that's an awfully long time. I understand that though now, and it's not something that I fear or I dread. I embrace it.
Wonderful. I'll ask you to both of you, Keith as well, continue to pepper the conversation with little examples of why it's worth it. So again, I'll just come back to that question for you, Patrick. You're in it and it's a lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle that you're living now. What's another thing that you experience, maybe even on a day-to-day basis, that makes the hard work that you continue to put in worth it?
Well, I certainly am able to do physically far more things than I have ever done before. I used to have difficulty walking on a golf course. I walked the golf course today and many holes in the rain and without any effort whatsoever on my part. I do things like that. I feel better. I feel better about myself. I feel better in that I have inspired other people, including my 2 sons, who both have participated in the program and have had better success than I have had. And
wow,
we all are type 2 diabetics. It's something that runs in my family, unfortunately. However, all of us have experienced that being completely under control at this point. And my doing something I didn't think was ever possible, and that was getting virtually off of insulin shots and reducing medication. My A1C for the last 4.5 years has been under 7 consistently. So it's an amazing transformation that I didn't think could happen, especially at my age of life. But it has, and it's been a successful program, and I've tried them all, as we discussed earlier, and they all worked until they didn't work any longer. This one works and continues to.
Boy, that's great. That point that you just made, that you thought there was a time when you thought changes like this in my health, my physical health, my quality of life aren't possible. Like you actually thought that, and yet here you are, and now 5 years strong. I emphasize that point just because there may be people who are watching who are very new to HMR,
Mhm.
And that is an unusually hopeful message that not enough people hear in our culture today. So let's lean into that as we continue to speak more about the experience in phase two. Keith, go ahead. And then Margie, I'm going to turn it over to you to ask some phase two questions.
I can lean into that deeply. I'm also a diabetic. I'm a type 1 diabetic. When Margie asked about other programs, it reminded me I have been in and out of weight loss programs since I was 14 years old. That was my first one, a program that is now defunct. And it reminded me that like we would all have to stand up at the end and say things together and end on the saying, how foolish I have been. And it's just like, really? Why didn't that work? Well, no, of course, why didn't that work? That's just, so that was the mentality that I came from. And as the weight came on and came on and came on, there were things that I had to do that were very hard on my ego, such as I had a shoehorn, like an actual plastic shoehorn, because I worked at a behavioral health hospital and I had to dress with dressy shoes. And on a Monday, my wife would tie those shoes for me while they were on my feet.
Wow.
And for the rest of the week, I would slip them off and use the shoehorn to slip them back on because I was ashamed that I could no longer bend down to tie my shoes. That was physically impossible. Now, if my shoes come untied while I'm running 5 kilometers away from my house, I can just lean on a curb and do it. And it's just like, it's just like, wow, that's an amazing thing. It's different. For me, one of the things that I saw that picture of myself and that Gryffindor Quidditch shirt got old. And that's a thing that never happened to me before. My clothes started to wear out because for the first time in my life, I was the same size for a period of time.
Wow.
When we look at that guy I was hopeless. And it took some real shakeups to get me to admit that I needed to sit down with Margie at the time and hear what the program could be.
Mhm.
Wow. What such a powerful share. Thanks you for that, Keith. Again, just really such a positive message that all three of you are presenting here. So if you are watching and you're new to the program or you're still in phase one, and we do have some questions coming in about phase two, which we will get to, take the positive message that you're hearing. So much is possible, and maybe so much more is possible than you might even think for yourself. So really a beautiful message. So let's tap into this a little bit more, Margie. What other questions do you want to ask our guests here about phase two?
Christie, I'd like to ask you as far as how has your life changed as a function of who you are now?
Oh God, it's changed quite a bit. So
that's a big one.
I was a preschool teacher for 16 years. I taught 2-year-olds, and everyone knows 2-year-olds, they don't stop. They just want to keep going and going. And I couldn't keep up with them. I had no energy. And then that's when I joined the program, and, things really, really kind of changed from there. I became a lot more confident. I had more energy. I knew when I joined the program that PA was going to be something essential for me. I was that person that I had a gym membership for, 7-8 years, and I would pull into the parking lot and I'd be like, nah, I don't want to go in. Partially, I think I was ashamed of how I looked and I just wasn't comfortable. So, joining the program, I went back into the gym. I eased myself in, doing cardio. And then I started taking classes, and then I kind of fell in love with PA. And before I knew it, I was getting my first certification. And then within the next year, I had 2 more, and now part-time, which feels like full-time, I'm teaching 7 classes a week.
Wow.
So definitely big changes.
That's
all
remarkable.
thanks to the program. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Christie had to cancel a class this evening because she teaches those classes every night. So she needed to cancel a class in order to join us here. And if that isn't a transformation in terms of your life and how you spend your time, it's remarkable.
Christie inspired me to take a type of exercise that I've never taken before.
Yeah,
didn't you try the pound class?
I tried pound. Yeah. The first class I ever took at a gym, because again, you still feel like you're that same person sometimes. I have some stability issues, and classes were beyond me. but Christie and I talked about pound, and I'm just like, drumstick, like aerobic, that's amazing. I love music. And so I got a Christmas box set, and I think I told you the next week that I got it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to take the step to take a class at the Y. And really then like 3 weeks later, COVID happened. But, still took that step. And that's what this program does. It connects you with like-minded people. I used to sit right behind Christie. And now it's, 9 years later for her.
Well, I teach it virtual, so you're always welcome to join in with us whenever you
Oh,
want.
okay. That's kind of tempting. I actually might.
There you go.
So dramatic changes for you. Patrick, can I ask you, what do you think life would be like if you had not enrolled in this program? What, 3 years ago? Is it 3?
Well, it's almost 5. It'll be
Oh, it's
5.
almost 5. 3 in
It'll be
phase 2.
5 in February. Yeah. And I think it initially took me 10 months to lose the weight on phase 1. So it's a little more than 4 years that I've
Got it.
been
Okay.
involved in phase 2. But I don't know, Margie, to be honest with you, if I would even be here if I had not participated in this program. And I did it out of a sense of fear or cowardice because, as you know, with the endocrinologist that runs the Abington Weight Management, he and I discussed, all of my failed efforts to lose weight. I was always well intended, but they were failed efforts for whatever reason. And we talked about the possibility of my going for gastric bypass surgery. And that concerned me enough that I didn't want to face up to that I did enter the program. And it worked. Why it worked, I don't know. As I've said to Dr. Weiss many times, that it's magic, and he keeps telling me there is no magic involved. And I guess he's right. It's just astonishing to me that from my generation, which was the drug generation, that you can get control over a medical problem. You can lose weight just by adjusting the food that you eat and the physical activity that you do. That it's possible. And I never thought that could be possible.
Interesting. It sounds like such a simple concept. We know that the execution is not always simple, but it is just that, isn't it? It is what we work on. Yeah.
Margie, I have to interrupt. Guys, the chances were low that it would happen, but I think we have a surprise guest spot.
I didn't think those chances were low. I knew.
And I have several questions that we have to get to that people have asked. One of them being from Donna, who I work with. Hi, Donna. What a close-knit group. Is this because they met in person? Is it possible to develop relationships like this through the Zoom calls? I say the answer to that is yes, but think about that while I let our surprise guest in. And here she is. Drum roll, please. Here she is. Hello, Becky. Becky, you made it. My goodness.
Is this the right lighting?
Yes, everything's
good.
fine.
Hey, there
Hi,
you go.
Becky.
Hi,
Becky,
guys.
I want to just tell our audience that Becky was originally slated to be here, but then she had some commitments where she wasn't going to be here. But the more she and I chatted by way of email exchange, and I didn't strong arm you.
No, you did not.
Let's make sure everyone.
Yeah,
I just think the idea of being here became more and more of a good idea to you. And let me just very quickly, we've covered a lot of ground, so we don't
Well, I
want to
wish I'd
lose.
been able to
We
hear
don't
all
want to
of
lose sight of what we've covered. But Becky, if I could just show a picture of you, just and just give your stats, what you've done in the program for our audience, so that just to credential them, bring them up to speed on your experience.
Okay, so I was a kindergarten teacher 20 years ago, and that's Mr. Bear in my arms. And that was, I guess it's close to about 100 pounds. I don't remember the number, but
Beautiful.
that was the fall that I started. And then The other picture is of me about, I don't know, a bit later, 13 years ago at my son's wedding.
Oh,
And
Yeah, you,
camping.
looking at that picture on the right, Becky, you just don't really look like you're having that much fun. You know,
No, I know. What you gonna do?
All right, so Becky, just to ground you, we have, we've heard people's histories. We just touched on phase one very quickly. We addressed the fact that everyone's had that very common experience of having done many diets in the past, and now we've dived into phase two. That is really what we're talking about, either long-term experience of successfully managing a weight loss. So Margie, where do you want to pick up with our questions?
Well, you listen, I know you talked about kind of the travails of being here this evening, but another reason that Becky wasn't sure that she'd be able to be with us is because she had her second full knee replacement surgery exactly 1 week ago.
Yep.
And she wasn't sure if she would be all there.
No, I'm not
but
sure I am all there.
one thing I remember was how you astonished your team, your physical therapy team and your physician team in terms of your recovery from your first knee replacement surgery.
Mhm.
So I guess, I've been on the question right now as far as what would life be like for you if you had never done this program and never lost this weight? In that context or any other, Becky, what do you think? Where do you think you'd be? What do you think life would be like?
Well, it's an interesting question because, things happen kind of gradually. Like I didn't realize back when I started the program that I was actually pre-diabetic. I didn't know that. I didn't feel that. And there were many habits I did not have in place then that I do now that I feel are just day by day making me a different person than I was. And so as a result, I feel like there were benefits that came by result of just joining the program and doing the work, in season and out of season.
Mm-hmm.
So-
All right. When I think of your recovery right now, the numbers we use so much in our classes, for every pound you take off, you take 4 pounds of pressure off your knee.
Mhm.
So that knee that is now experiencing close to 400 pounds less pressure, what a recovery it is able to make.
Yeah.
And I think it thanks you on a daily basis that this is the way that it can go for you.
Love
Yeah,
that,
thanks.
Margie. Such a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finish this up, Keith, for me, could you, as far as what would life be like for you had you done nothing? How many years ago, again, refresh my memory, that you started?
I believe it's 13 years ago that I started. And I was
Okay.
in phase one, and this is just something that it'd be good for people to hear too. I was in phase one for a year, and I lost half the weight I lost in phase one, and I lost the second half in phase two.
Wow.
With the support of my team and the support of the coaches, especially.
Mhm.
I took this from the snack cabinet of my house. That is a chest tab that they put on you when the paramedics come to your house and wheel your 400-pound body into an ambulance. I wasn't dead. I had been working around the house, and I noticed at the end of the day that I had chest pain. So I called the emergency line on the back of my insurance card. And the woman who, because I'm like, should I go to the hospital? I don't know. The woman who answered said, "You're having chest pains. How much do you weigh?" And I told her.
Boy.
And she said, "Do you have any other conditions?" I said, "Well, I'm a type 1 diabetic." She said, "Call 911 right away." Turns out I just strained a chest muscle by carrying 2x4s, but I can still picture, like it was got to be 14 years ago now, 15 years ago. I can still picture the window and my wife holding my daughter as it went away.
Wow.
I'm almost certain. I mean, Patrick was like, "I don't know if I would," and he gave himself the benefit of the doubt. I am nearly certain at like the age I was, I wouldn't be here. It would, and if I was like still alive, I don't know that my wife would have been able to stay with me with the stuff that she had to do just to help me get through the day. And I don't know what my daughter's relationship would be with me. because she looks up to me and how much I try. And I would have been very difficult to look up to. So
Wow.
life changed thanks to this
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Amazing.
Pretty amazing.
That's wonderful.
Margie, I know we want to talk about some of the insights specific to phase two and this long-term journey. I did want to maybe to set it up. We've had two questions from people who are watching. Deb and Stacy, thank you so much for asking your questions. So Deb is very close to starting phase two. And her question is, how close do you adhere to phase one in phase two? And then a similar question from Stacy, just about phase two. Does phase two feel significantly different than phase one? So I think if we answer that second question, how do you approach phase two, and how is it different from phase one for you? Who wants to start that off? And then we can get right into some of the maybe deeper insights that people have experienced through the years.
Well, I'll be brief because I got to be at some point in time. Phase two is as different as you want it to be. And I will caution that by saying it's as difficult as you feel safe in your weight loss being. Margie and Misty use a phrase, protect what you've lost. And every choice you make is around protecting what you've lost. And that mentality shouldn't change regardless of what phase you're in. And then for anybody who's concerned about going into phase two, the way it hasn't changed, they'll talk you through it. They've got those handouts and pamphlets and all sorts of things just like they had in phase one. And they'll be giving you different homework every week that helps you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who would add to that? Giving some insights to people who haven't been in phase two. It's imminent. What would you say about phase two relative to phase one? What's been your experience? Go ahead, Patrick.
I could add on what Keith said, that I have a tendency to almost do a hybrid of phase one, phase two in many instances, where I will take 2 meals a day, whichever I choose to, and make them HMR meals. And then the third, I'll decide to do on my own, where I am employing the techniques that have been, or tools that have been given to me via the coaching at HMR, or from the other participants talking about different foods that they've tried, or counting calories. Counting calories was not something that ever was heard in my house when I was growing up. It was just a non-existent term. And for the most part with HMR, it's non-existent because they do all of that for you in the background. But in phase two, you're kind of piloting your own ship to some extent, and you need to learn some strategies and learn a little bit about different foods. I was always remarked at something that Margie brought up in a class one night, where someone said that they would not eat potatoes. And Margie asked how many calories were in potatoes, in an ounce of potatoes, and they did not know.
Right.
And she said, well, how do you feel about apples? Oh, well, I could eat apples all day long. She said, well, how many calories do you think there are in apples? And as it turns out, as I can recall, it was like 15 in apples and 20 in potatoes.
Those are my answers. Yep.
Yeah. And, as the Irish found out, potatoes are a very important essential food. So I embrace that.
Okay.
We knew we'd get the Irish plug eventually from you too.
Sorry.
As Margie would say it's how you adorn the potatoes.
It's how you adorn them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
And you have found potato salad isn't always your friend, Patrick, the old time potato salad, right? Which I don't think
The old time
did.
potato salad, which I figured was about 400 calories a cup, has been replaced by one of the HMR recipes that I think is 90 calories a cup.
Right.
So to me, it's just as good. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I think we could talk forever about the differences of phase one and phase two, and there are a lot of similarities, which both of you have touched on. I know, Christie, you lean into a lot of your phase one routines and strategies still as part of keeping off your 45 pounds now 9 years later. I think phase two, how I would just summarize it so that we can continue the discussion, is it's a way of staying engaged. It's a way of staying in action and continuing to pay attention to your lifestyle choices. There aren't a lot of phase two programs out there. And boy, is it easy to fall back into old habits, Keith. You alluded to that earlier. So let's continue to talk about phase two, and Margie, maybe even lean into some of the insights that people have gained about this ongoing process of discovery.
Yeah, well, I think, as I talked about in the introduction, I think a common trait for all of these people at this on our program right now is resilience. There isn't one of you that hasn't had to stop a slide, So my question to you would be, how do you respond to weight gain? Christie, how would you say that? You've had to respond to weight gain, right?
I have. It took a few times to be like, quote unquote, okay with it, but you just have to realize that no one's perfect. No one's weight is going to stay the same. It's just life. There's up and downs, there's fluctuations, there's, water retention. It's just life. It's just the way that it is. I just try and remind myself that I'm still eating well. I'm still doing it. Maybe it went up a pound, maybe it'll go down next week. You know what I mean? And then I also try and remind myself, yes, I may have gained a pound, 2 pounds, whatever it is, but remember how much I'm keeping off, I think is important. And then Keith, I have to bring you up because my class buddy, you were actually a part of this, because I remember, one night talking to you and, I was like, I gained, and you're like, oh, I gained 2, but it's fine. It is what it is. I'll lose it next week. It's fine. And you just never let it get to you. You know what I mean? And you kind of brought me back to reality in a way. And I was like, you're right. Like, if I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing, it's the way it is. You have your ups, you have your downs, but you just stay on track and you just keep going.
I appreciate that it looked that way to you.
It did. I always appreciated it and admired you so much for it. So thank you, Keith.
That was one of my better and stronger, more resilient moments, I'd imagine. I will also say that, I would save those moments for Misty at the time, where that needed to be taught into me, because when you came into the program, I had been in phase two for quite a while. The first holiday, the first Christmas I went through in phase two, it was the class in January, like January 5th or whatever. And I had gained a pound through the course of the holidays. And Misty made me go and get one of those just like 16-ounce water bottles and carry it around in my pocket all day, because I was obsessing over this pound I gained. And she said, call me at the end of the day. And I'm like, all right, what? And she's like, did you really notice it was there? I was like, no, actually, I forgot sometimes. She's like, that's what a pound is. You went through the holidays and gained a pound. Do you know how many Americans would be out of their mind if they only gained a pound in the holidays?
That's right.
Like, and she's just like, did you get into this program to be a superhero or to be normal? And I said, well, to be normal, because she's heard me talk about my weight was not normal. And she's like, well, congratulations, you gained a pound over holidays, you're normal. And I was just like, oh, but yeah, it's stuff like that. It takes years of faith in yourself and faith in this program to respond to weight gain in a way that inspires Christie.
And you'll notice
I'll also add real quick that I never let it affect my eating for the rest of that week. Sometimes you could think, oh, I gained whatever, I may as well just have whatever I want the rest of the week and then start. I never let it affect me. I just, the next day, get up, just do the same thing, get right back,
Good.
Beth, I want to hear what you were about to say, but I just have to add in Margie. Beth from your Thursday morning group is singing the praises of the accountability. The ongoing
Wonderful.
accountability of phase two. And Christie, you just said, you didn't let it turn into, a lost week. I suspect the accountability of the program played a role in that. Accountability is so important. It's such a feature. That's such a necessary element of making lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
So Becky, what were you going to add in there?
Well, the community aspect of Christie feeling one way and Keith being able to speak into her life, that happens, as you say, as you're accountable to show up and like kind of do it in, within a group of like-minded people, that they get the hard work, they respect the process, they commiserate when, you just feel like you've done everything you know how to do and you just feel defeated. But they're there to say, right, it's not going to be a permanent thing. We'll all like wait with you through this next new week. Let's set some goals. And so and if you stay with it for a while, you see seasons that kind of come together and you talk through, how do I navigate this special occasion or this weekend or this crisis that's happening, and you're not having to like come up with ideas by yourself. You're in a group with other people. And especially if they've been like, well, I had a similar situation. I was traveling and these are the things I did that got me through the morning. Oh, okay, let me write a few of those things down, or I never heard of that vegetable. Let me put like just different specific things, but that's so much of life is very specific, right? And so if you can grab on to one thing that Keith did and go, okay, let me just note that he made this watermelon gazpacho. I can do that this week. I have extra gazpacho and that'll get me through the places where I'm feeling a little anxious, that I don't have anything to catch me, and like, okay, I'll put that there. That'll catch me in the gaps,
Yeah.
So that community aspect, the accountability aspect is absolutely key.
And let me say this too, just about Becky is in my Thursday morning class. And listen, other than when you're going through knee replacement surgery, Becky has her notebook in front of her.
Oh.
And as we're going through class or either before class, she specifically plans out, here's when I'm doing my physical activity this week. She's been here 20 years and she still plans it out. Here's when I'm going to do it. Becky is a very social, big Greek cook. We know that, Becky.
That's true.
Okay. But she slots it in there. She slots her physical activity. That comes first. Not always first in the morning, but it comes first. And that has been such an asset to you as far as that willingness to continue to do that.
That's quite an image you've just painted. So Becky, you're down how many pounds?
Well, I don't know what the current number is.
But roughly.
It's about 100 or 95.
Down, say 100 pounds
Yeah.
for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you're in the group every week with the notebook open.
Yeah, because life is so daily,
Extraordinary.
It is. And
Well said.
I might have written you, you start and, you experience, you're afraid to start, you're afraid not to start, but you start. And lo and behold, you experience success that you didn't know was even possible. And you think, I am never going to let anything happen to this success, but then you have a crisis in your life or whatever, something happens. It always does. And when it does, it throws you on your ear and you have to, that's where you're needing this community. That's where you're needing, the specific care that like-minded people and your coaches can give you. And so there were times that I was very strong and times that I barely had my nose above water, times of great grief, times of great, rejoicing and how to navigate that, because of all the things you have to do in life, you have to eat, right? You can't not eat. And sometimes we revert to things just because we always did. And then, macaroni and cheese never settled any problems, but for a little while they sort of felt like, right? So, but anyway, so you're now with people that can help you, just like, how do you continue when you're feeling so disheartened, you've tried something for a while, you're not getting where you thought you'd be, or maybe you're just jubilant because you've discovered something and others can strengthen you in that and say, yes, I also learned this. And so it might be physical activity, it might be things that you eat or habits that you form, but you're doing it with people who respect it, respect the process and are willing to put the work in. And it's going to look different in everybody's lives. You know, we're all,
Right.
the person asked about phase two. Phase two can look as different as every person that's in it. You know, you find something that it supports you, and then you'll do it in counsel with other people, and you'll say, okay, for me, this is let's say for me, breakfast. A good breakfast for me would be an egg and a piece of toast, and a piece of fruit or something like. But if you gave me oatmeal, much as I love oatmeal, I would eat all the oatmeal, because the oatmeal for me is a trigger. Well, I didn't know that before, but I learned it. So now, you see what I'm trying to say is that you can sometimes two perfectly good choices, but one is more helpful to you than another.
Yeah.
In any situation, and you get to learn that about yourself. What will help you feel full? What will help you, be successful? And
Those insights.
Yeah.
A theme that came up in one of my groups this week is that so much of learning is trial and error, and it's really what you're speaking to. Hey, Margie, we're nearing the end here, but I have to ask you a question because it's come up several times here in the comments section. Most recently with Deb. Deb has asked this question. You guys are obviously such a close-knit group. There's a bond here between all of you. She's asking, is it possible to have such success by attending Zoom meetings? Not everyone is able to go to a clinic and to be in person like this. So Margie, you're familiar with both mediums. What would you say about that?
Yeah, listen, that's an interesting question. I would say, the evolution of this is that all of the participants right now actually started in an in-person program. Okay. I have the data from people that just began the Zoom, just began our program. You know what? I'm thinking like Bruce this morning that was on our class. I think he said he did one class in person, and then COVID. And then he has been in Zoom classes since then. And I think he would answer that question as far as, I'm there every week. Yeah, I get it too. So, I want to think that it is possible. What do you guys think?
And she's asking about, can you be successful in phase two with the at home, with the Zoom?
With the Zoom.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I would say, these people are all reflections of that. For and actually the 4 people that are on board right now, even though we do have a live option, they are all choosing to remain remote.
Yeah.
And are feeling comfortable with that, right, Patrick, for you?
Zoom is a lot easier from my standpoint. I used to live around the corner from the center. I don't any longer, but
yeah.
Zoom has made it possible. My 2 sons they've never gone to a clinic. They do it on Zoom. If I may, I would like to say something to follow up what Christie and Becky have just said, and it's about protecting what you've done. And I wish I could take credit for this, but I can't. I saw it on HMR a few years ago, and it talked about, and I've been having my struggles recently with gaining some weight. And I never noticed it before because I never paid attention to gaining weight or paid attention to a scale. I avoided scales like the plague. But something that has been very inspirational to me that I think about and look at all the time is a statement that somebody printed on there. And it's very simple. It says, if I quit now, I will soon be back to where I started. And when I started, I was desperately wishing to be where I am now. That
we have that on our wall. You gave that to me. We have it right on our wall, which you don't see because you're not in there, but we have it tagged right up there. It speaks to many people.
That's great.
Yeah.
I want to be respectful of the time. We had informally said we were going to get this done in 45 minutes. We're going strong at 55. So I do want to turn the corner. Maybe to really end this on an upbeat note, I'd like to just ask each of you, obviously it takes a lot of work and a great deal of commitment to do what you have done. Be pithy. I'd like you to come up with one aspect of your quality of life that makes it worth it. Staying engaged, staying involved in the process of practicing a healthy lifestyle in a culture that doesn't support it. So I'd like you to just think about that for a moment, and then we can wrap this up. Christie, just something that you haven't shared yet, something about your quality of life that you wouldn't change for anything, and it's a function of the lifestyle your practices that you're engaged in.
I would say the PA has really done a lot for me. The fact that I am pretty active, teaching 7 classes a week. I have people that, I motivate by doing the classes and that show up for the classes. I've also learned that I'm not perfect and that no one is perfect. But again, if you put your mind to it, then, you can achieve it. You can do your best. And I've also learned that healthy habit options are just not optional for me. Whether it's food related, PA, whatever, those healthy options in life are just crucial for me.
It's great. It's really great. Who else has something to add around what helps to drive you to continue to stay at it? Go ahead, Patrick.
For me, it's living a healthy life, and it's a much happier place to be.
Beautiful. Keith, do you want to wrap it up with us? On that?
For the 2 words that stuck in my mind were "I can." I was born with cerebral palsy, and I told myself all my life I couldn't run. I can't run. And that contributed to a lot more I can'ts, which then contributed to 400 pounds. And what HMR said was, don't run, just walk. Just walk for 10 minutes. And then I ran from telephone pole to telephone pole and panted for like 17 of them, and then ran for another telephone pole to telephone pole. Now every week I run 5 to 7 kilometers, and I'm the director of my own 5K. That's not my own, but of a charity that I support. And if it weren't for this program, I wouldn't have those I can'ts. I wouldn't be that guy. And doesn't matter if I make a mistake with what I eat, as long as I get back and I say, no, I can make these choices again. And it doesn't matter if Becky goes through knee surgery, if she's saying, you know what, I can take my aerobics classes again. The I cans are what this program has given me for 13 years and for why I'm not going anywhere.
Yep.
Beautifully said. Well, Margie, I think it's a good note to end it on. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Hey, Margie and Patrick, Christie, Keith, and Becky, our surprise guests here. Thank you for sharing with our audience a little bit of your lives here in the program. And for those of you watching, thank you for joining us. These events are intended to be a shot in the arm as you focus on this important area of your life, your weight, your health, and protecting a higher quality of life, whatever that means to you personally. So we hope the conversation tonight was helpful and supports you to have another good week. Thanks for being here. And to all of you, have a great week as well.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wish you well.
Bye-bye.